Once upon a time, in a grand kingdom surrounded by deep forests and shining lakes, there lived a princess named Elara. She had golden hair that fell like sunlight over her shoulders, and a heart so gentle that even the palace birds perched on her windowsill to sing for her. Her mother, the queen, loved her dearly and watched over her with great care. When Elara reached the age of marriage, she was promised to a prince of a distant land. The queen prepared her for the long journey, giving her a chest filled with fine gowns and a horse named Falada, who was wise, loyal, and could understand human speech. But the most precious gift of all was a white handkerchief marked with 3 drops of the queen's own blood.
The blood of the innocent speaks the loudest truth. Cherish this memory, Elara.
"Take this, my child," the queen said softly. "As long as you keep it near you, no harm shall befall you."
Be brave, my child.
Elara kissed her mother goodbye, mounted Falada, and set off, accompanied by her waiting woman, Marwyn, who had been raised in the palace but held jealousy in her heart. For the first few days, the journey went well. The forests were peaceful and the rivers sparkled like ribbons of glass. But as they traveled farther from home, Marwyn grew proud and demanding. "Princess," she snapped on the 5th day, "comb my hair." Elara refused. "I am your mistress," she said calmly. "You were sent to serve me." Marwyn's eyes burned with rage. They traveled on in uneasy silence until they came to a great stream. Elara bent to drink from her silver cup, but Marwyn pushed her aside. "Draw water with your own hands," the waiting woman snarled. "I am no servant of yours." Fear pricked at Elara's heart. She knelt by the riverbank and murmured, "Oh, my mother, if you knew, your heart would surely break in two." At that moment, the queen's handkerchief slipped from Elara's bodice and floated down the stream like a drifting feather. She gasped and reached for it, but the current carried it away forever. Marwyn saw her chance.
Now you are weak. I will take your place, and you shall be nothing.
With Falada watching helplessly, Marwyn forced the princess to trade clothes. Elara was made to dress in old rags, while Marwyn adorned herself in the princess's royal gown. She braided her hair to mirror Elara's and mounted Falada as though she had been born a true princess. "You will not speak a word when we arrive in the prince's kingdom," Marwyn warned. "If you dare to tell the truth, I will have Falada killed, and you with her." Elara's heart broke, for she loved Falada dearly. Fearful for their lives, she obeyed. When they reached the foreign kingdom, Marwyn presented herself as the bride. The prince welcomed her politely, though he found her cold and proud. The real princess, disguised in rags, was sent to work in the palace yard. No one knew her name. No one knew she was royalty. She was simply called the Goose Girl, for she was sent to guard the king's geese with a young boy named Conrad.
The new princess is here.
Falada, the faithful horse, recognized the truth and snorted angrily whenever Marwyn approached. Fearing discovery, the false princess ordered, "Have that creature killed at once. I will not have it looking at me so strangely."
You know too much! Kill the horse immediately!
The king's stablemaster carried out the cruel order. When Elara heard that Falada had been killed, her heart shattered. She begged the stablemaster, "Please, may I have Falada's head hung beneath the great archway I pass each day with the geese? Only that I may still see my friend." The stablemaster, moved by her tears, granted her wish. And so, beneath the tall stone archway, Falada's head was mounted, still noble, still shining, still filled with the memory of loyalty. Every morning, Elara passed beneath the archway. She would whisper, "Oh, Falada, hung there high, how wicked fate that you should die." And Falada's head, by magic or pure devotion, would reply, "Oh, Princess Elara, passing by, your mother weeps for you on high. If your tale were known to all, your false maid surely soon would fall."
I can't keep track of them all, Elara. They scatter every time I turn my back.
Conrad, who tended the geese with her, heard none of this. But he did notice something strange. Whenever they reached the meadow to graze the geese, Elara would sit beneath a willow tree and loosen her hair. Her golden hair shone like threads of honey, and the wind would play with it, lifting it like a dancing veil. "Princess, oh, Goose Girl, let me pull one of your golden hairs," Conrad begged, but Elara shook her head. "Wind, blow Conrad's hat away, make him chase it far astray." The wind obeyed. It lifted Conrad's hat and rolled it across the meadow. While he scrambled after it, Elara braided her hair again in peace. This happened day after day, and Conrad soon grew frustrated. Conrad complains to the king. At last he ran to the king.
Your Majesty, that Goose Girl is strange.
The king raised an eyebrow. He had also noticed the coldness of his future daughter-in-law and wondered if something was amiss. He said, "Bring the Goose Girl to me." Elara came before him timidly. She looked so gentle and sorrowful that the king felt his heart move toward her, but he did not press her openly. Instead, he followed her the next day, hidden among the trees. He saw her bow before Falada's head. He heard the horse's voice reply. He watched her lose her golden hair beneath the willow. His heart tightened with curiosity and concern. He murmured, "This is no simple Goose Girl." That evening, he said kindly, "Child, I sense you carry a great burden. If you cannot tell me, speak your truth to the iron stove in the corner. It hears everything and tells nothing." Elara knelt beside the stove. Believing she was alone, she wept and whispered her whole story, how Marwyn had stolen her place, how Falada was slain, how she feared to tell the truth. But the king heard every word. When she finished, he came forward gently.
My dear child, you are the true princess, and you have suffered more than anyone.
Elara looked up in shock, but the king smiled. "Fear nothing. Justice shall be done." The next day, a grand ceremony was held. Marwyn arrived proudly, thinking she would soon become queen. But the king summoned her before the entire court. He said, "Tell me, what should be done to someone who betrays her mistress and steals her place?" Marwyn, unaware of the trap, replied boldly, "She should be cast out without mercy, perhaps even punished severely." The king arose. "Then you have judged yourself, for you are the one who stole the princess's place."
No, this is a mistake! She's lying! She's nothing but a goose girl!
The truth has been spoken. You stole her place and threatened her life.
Marwen turned pale. As the guards led her away, she screamed and pleaded, but the king had no pity. Justice, though not cruel, was firm. Once Marwen was gone, Elara was welcomed back with joy. She was bathed, dressed in silks, and crowned with jewels. When the prince met her, he could not take his eyes from her kindness and beauty. You are the true princess, and I am honored to wed you. Elara smiled shyly. I only wish Falada could be here to see this day. The people celebrated for 3 days and 3 nights in honor of their new princess. The king proclaimed, "Truth and goodness have prevailed, and falsehood has fallen."
Behold the true princess. Princess Elara, you have shown humility, courage, and grace. Today, you are crowned the true princess of this kingdom.
Elara and the prince were married in a ceremony filled with music, petals, and joy, so radiant that even the palace doves danced in the air.
Thank you for believing me.
I always will.
And from that day forward, Elara never tended geese again, but she remained gentle with all creatures, for she remembered the friends who had stayed faithful to her in her darkest hours.
I'm glad justice found you, child.
I'm sorry. You were only curious.
She and the prince lived long and happily, ruling with wisdom and kindness.
I loved you before I knew who you were. Your kindness, your courage captured me.